Good afternoon, gardening friends. It's now, September 10th at about 1:30 in the afternoon. It's been a long time since I've recorded anything for a regular update. Lots of things going on around here. Things mainly dying in the garden. I've had my battles with various bugs. I've tried various techniques, including insecticidal soap and ladybugs, and I've got separate videos on the ladybugs. Kind of tried releasing them each night, tried something a little different. I've still got a few of them left. I may be releasing in the next few days, but it's been really hot here in Southern California the last couple of weeks, and today it's a little bit cooler and I'm finally kind of getting to dealing with some things. If you look at my tomatoes, you can see I've cleared off quite a bit because in this heat a lot of individual leaves have died off in various branches, and I've learned over time I can cut them way the heck back and they will come back. So I'm not as worried about that. I just sort of cleared out the dead stuff. I finally gave up on the melons down in the medium planter, so I have a plan for that I just came up with today. So I'll see if I can actually get that done and update you on that today. Let me show you a little bit more out on the patio. You know, I'm not even really sure what I planted in this planter because I didn't label it. If I go across to the next one, it says mint on July 6th. I'm not sure. I don't think that's the mint. I think what I've actually got... Ooh, got a visitor. Well, didn't catch him in time. The mint, I don't think that's it growing. I suspect that actually what's happened is my broom corn plant, which had some branches that dried out, I think some of the seeds from that actually just kind of popped over into the garden, and that's why I've been getting some of that growing. But moving on, we get the oregano, also July 6th, nothing. German chamomile, June 21st, nothing. But finally have something in the basil category. Move up a little there. It's an unknown basil, but I finally got plants. Looks like I got two plants growing there. Next to that is the echinacea, nothing. And then you can see the Pac-Man broccoli followed by the Swiss chard. Pac-Man broccoli finally took off, although actually it looks like there's another one of the broom corns in there. It was a little hard to tell initially, but maybe I can pull the broom corn. One nice thing about broom corn is it fixes the nitrogen in the soil, so that may be what helped the broccoli actually grow. I'm not sure. It looks like I got some dead stuff to cut off there too, as well as on the Swiss chard. Panning over, we've got three morning glories. Well, actually, the morning glories are actually bookended. Sorry, I kind of got out of square there. They were blooming beautifully, and then the heat came and they're kind of suffering, but maybe you can see there's a whole bunch of branches kind of sticking over to the side. So, but that's the morning glory, and that's the patio. So let's go look outside. So the big planters are really kind of the main reason why I got on all the whole on dealing with the bug issue. This is actually the best looking big planter. If I pan over, you look at the next one, it looks pretty scrawny. And then if I pan around even more, sorry about that, you can see what that one looks like over there. It's half dead. I could get closer, but it's not really worth it. Let me just kind of see if I find bugs on there right now, and I'll tell you what I've been doing to ultimately deal with the problem. On closer inspection, it's a little hard to show you the bugs because there isn't much happening here, which is actually a good thing. But believe me, I had little green bugs, little black bugs, various things. I can see an ant crawling along right now, but I don't imagine the ants are going to do much damage. But they were doing some damage, and it was really kind of bothering me. That's why I started with the insecticidal soap, and that didn't really work. So I went and I got the ladybugs. Actually ordered them online. You can ask me where I got them if you want. Just give me a comment on this video. And they didn't really do much, but there are a number of variables involved in releasing ladybugs, so I'm not blaming the company or the ladybugs themselves. They flew off, and I imagine somebody's getting the benefit of having some ladybugs eating other bugs, because that's really what they do. Anyway, what I ultimately ended up doing, let me see if I can sort of demonstrate. I'm going to stick my hand in here, and basically I just held the head of the plant here to give it some stability, and I used the hose, I've set it on spray, and I just gave it a quick blast and blew the bugs off. Just repeatedly doing that. I don't know if it discourages them or what, but it gets them off the leaves. We're not adding chemicals, and it seems to have helped. These plants are the healthiest of all with that treatment. I've also got the little tree thing around the corner. Let me show you that. So this is sort of an odd angle, but it kind of gives you an idea of the health of the tree. A number of leaves, actually most of the leaves from the original branches fell off. I had leaf hoppers attacking them. Basically with this one I've been doing the same thing, just blasting them with water. The leaves seem to like it. I've been watering every day simply because it's been hot. I'll try and get back to not watering too much because I don't want root rot to affect the plant. But the bottom line is it's a lot healthier right now, and I'll just keep spraying as much as I think it needs. And unbelievably, water seems to have just been the solution to my bug problem, or a good chunk of my bug problem. I've still got other bugs around here, but it's really kind of helping out. So I'm just going to have to remember that one for next year. Let's take a look at a couple other things. So here's the pergola, and I swear to you, if you can see that blue flower, that's the first flower I've ever seen on this plant. I did notice last night that there was evidence that a flower had actually come and passed, but I'm really happy to see a flower on here. The vines are climbing. Let me, if I get a little closer, then I can kind of show you. Hopefully this comes through in video, but let me kind of pan up so you can see how the vine is climbing. It's not super filled out, but I mean, we're talking a couple of months of growth. It's been really hot, which is affecting all the plants, but I'm happy to see the vines climbing. And if you look, well, let me get you closer on that. If you look right here, you'll see that there's a couple of vines that have come down. Actually, I tried to wrap them and get them to go across the top. I don't know if they came unwrapped or if they've really just grown that much since the last time. So I'm going to have to get up on a ladder or a box or something and try and wrap them to encourage them to instead go across like that. And you can see that those are coming across. Mostly I've had to train the individual vines, so I'll have to get up and work on some of that today or tomorrow. But overall I'm happy with the pergola. It's starting to work out. Oh, and one more note on the pergola. A lot of the planters to the side of the pergola, the plants that I planted in there have pretty much died out. So I think I have a plan for that. I'm going to try and sort of regenerate the soil, even though I actually mixed in quite a bit of compost and what have you. But maybe it was too rich, or it's not getting enough sun, or it's getting too much sun. I don't know. I've got a plan for sort of, I've got a lot of planters where the plants are just dying, and I think I know what I want to do. It's simple. I've got plenty of seed for it, and we'll just attack it, and I'll tell you once I got it done, and then we'll follow it from there. And over here in the north courtyard, we've got this structure. The other plants are all doing about as they usually do. This is the one where I was trying to train a bunch of plants up. So let's work our way up so you can kind of see where it's going. And it has made it to the top, and it continues to grow. And it turns out when they don't have any more support, they just kind of double back on themselves. I have a plan for that too. So one more thing to get done in the next couple of days, but I think that's it for this part of the update, and I will give you a further update when I got other things done, and then we'll release it all. I apologize, it's probably going to be a really long video, but it has been a while. Well folks, this is the first project underway, and this is the medium-sized planter. If you haven't seen it from last year, this holds quite a bit of soil. Let me actually try and pan down here, or relocate a bit so you can see. I'd say that's probably 3.5 5-gallon buckets. So we're on the order of 17 to 18 gallons. I think it was designed for 20. And I pull all the soil out just to loosen it up, and now I'll pour it back in. But meanwhile, When I went to go pull one of these 5-gallon buckets out from where it was stored, I found a little surprise. Let me see if I can go catch him. I'm not too sure how well you can see that, but I got a little lizard that was hiding in one of the 5-gallon buckets. It took a little coaxing to get him to come out into one of my planters that isn't really producing any plants. And he's just been sitting there the whole time I've been working, almost like he's watching me. Okay, so here we are with the finished product. I've planted the tomato. That was my plan for this. I emptied everything out. I made sure I cleared the drainage holes, which were plugged with soil, of all things. But it just seemed like stuff just wasn't draining that far down, so there may be a flaw in my design. In any case, I've got the tomatoes planted. This is a patio tomato. It was transplanted on today's the 10th. So there we go, that's one project, and I think I'm going to have to move on to something else and come back to gardening later. Good morning, folks. It's now September 11th, and the first thing I'm going to do is pause. We will not ever forget. Now onto the garden. As you can see, the tomatoes survived the night. On the left there, the others are just as scrawny as they were yesterday. Not much other change here on the patio, but I do have some changes outside. Let's start with some of these pots here. In the middle, you see a daylily, kind of suffering. I probably need to cut out some of the dead leaves. On either side, you see pots that appear to have nothing in them, and honestly, I've planted stuff and nothing's grown, but I think part of that may have to do with the heat was just so much that maybe it was too hot to germinate. I don't know if that's even a thing, but so what I've decided to do is bring back the apartment mix, modified version for 2013, basically a combination of old marigold, calendula, and broomcorn seeds. So I should be able to get some height from the broomcorn, and the marigold and calendula will also, while they're just filling empty pots for now, what they should also do is provide sort of a blockage for some of the bugs, because at least marigold is considered like the gardener's friend because so many bugs don't like them. Moving on, so I looked at the leaves on some of the others. Let me see if I can pan around here. So there's the tree. Let's see if I can get down a little bit so you can see it. I looked for bugs on the plants that were suffering from them. This one didn't have any bugs, but the sunflowers did, and so what I ended up doing is what I said I'd been doing. I just gave them a good blast of water and the bugs are gone. That was probably about an hour ago. Let's see if we see anything. Okay, so this is probably anticlimactic because you look at it, you don't see any bugs, but trust me, there were a bunch of bugs on there before I blasted them with water. You might even be able to see a little bit of water. Maybe not on those leaves that I'm pointed at, but anyway, that's what I did. And also in the base of the planter, and down a little, over a little. I don't know how well you can see the base of the planter, but basically in the areas where there wasn't anything actually growing, I kind of loosened up the soil and mixed in the apartment mix. So all three planters got that treatment. Let's see if any of that stuff starts to grow. These were some old seeds that I had harvested last year, and they were sitting in airtight containers. So I don't know how long they'll last, and I mean, they were out in the elements. They weren't in a nice cool storage area. Even though they were sealed, they were being exposed to the heat, so I don't know if that's going to have any effect. The half of the broomcorn that's in there is fresh. It came off a plant that I just cut one branch off of. So anyway, that's the big planters. So here's the pergola, and I don't know how well you can see it. Maybe I need to move a little closer, but I've kind of retrained some of the vines that are going up, so hopefully that'll help. Let me see if I can get closer for you. This may be a better shot just to kind of show you what I did. So I'm basically trying to run them back towards the middle so they're not doubling back on themselves so much. And that's the pergola. I cleared out the deadness in the pots to the side of the pergola and planted more apartment mix. And so this, at about 11 feet high, is my ridiculous solution to having the vining plants just kind of wave in the wind. Now they have a return path.